So I've seen a lot of modification guides on spring-powered blasters such as the Retaliator, and I've noticed a lot of them are just minor modifications or even just temperamental. They'll talk about removing the air restrictors or stretching the spring, but it really doesn't make too much of a difference. It'll only slightly increase the velocity. So what is really the best way to pack-a-punch a spring-powered Nerf blaster? Well, that of course is to replace the spring. So in this modification guide, I'll just be replacing the spring to a 5 kilogram one, and we'll be talking about some other things and helping you put the blaster back together again. So it's a really simple modification, but super effective. So let's get started. To save time, I've already taken this blaster apart, and what's really good about the Retaliator is that all the nails are exactly the same size, excluding this one over here. This one's a much longer nail. So that's all you really need to know. So now to take this out. So these are the internals of the Retaliator, and as you can see, I've already removed the locks. Taking out the locks is very simple. You just slide them out and that's it. I don't think it's too complicated. When you take out the locks, you'll just remove some of those silly little safety things Nerf has. For instance, usually when you load in a clip in a Nerf blaster, you have to pull this slide back and then put the clip in and then pull it forward. But once you take out those locks, you won't have that issue. You can just put the clip straight in. So I'll just take out this spring over here and replace it with a new one. But before I put in the new 5 kilogram spring, I would like to mention that it's probably a good idea to replace this catch spring over here, because once you put in that new 5 kilogram spring, this little spring here just won't be able to take that much power. So if possible, try and get a stronger spring this size to put onto this catch plate over here. And if you don't have a stronger spring like this, you might have maybe some spare ones of these. If you have 2 of these, you can just twine them together. So that's a good technique. So if you don't upgrade this little spring here, you may have some issues like a dart firing automatically even without you pulling the trigger, some crazy stuff like that. So I think it's definitely a good idea to replace this little spring. So I've got this stronger spring here. So I did get this spring from Orange Modworks. Well, I should really say Bloom, I believe. They're an Australian reseller of the Orange Modworks products. I'll have a few links below in the description where you can buy some of these springs. So when you put this in, you just sort of have to twist it in, and there we go. You just have to twist it around, and that's very firm. So once you do that, you can just put this in. And now we can put the 5 kilogram spring into the blaster. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be 5 kilograms, it can be 7 kilos or even 10, but 5 kilos does the job. It really works well. And once you get to the 7s and the 10s, there isn't too much of a big difference, and also it does get harder to prime it. It's really up to you what kind of spring you want to get, but 5 kilos will be fine. So you're pretty much all done. You can put the blaster back together again, but since you've already opened up the blaster, you might as well lubricate some of the internals of the blaster. So obviously that will mean you'll have to take out your spring and take this out. So you can just take this out, you know, put some lithium grease in it, or even lip balm. You know, that's not a bad lubricant. So stuff like that, and you should be all done. If you did happen to take this breech out, make sure you align it with this little indent over here. And then you will slide it back into position, and when you do that, you'll also have to push this thing a little down so it can slide all the way in. And there you go. Now you know that it's definitely locked into place. Then you can put in your plunger, as so, and then your catch plate, and your 5 kilo spring. So now we can put this shell onto this blaster. When I put this shell on, I'll be holding this little button forward so that it should connect to this little thing here. I forgot to put this dart holder piece under the handle. Make sure you don't forget that. And I'll just put this stock attachment over here. Now I can start putting the screws in. So here I've got the Retaliator with a 5 kilogram spring with the Retaliator barrel and the Raider stock with a lovely 10 dart banana magazine. I'm now ready to fire this and see how far it shoots. And because I've removed the locks from the blaster, I'm now able to place the magazine like that. Here we go. So here I've got my lowest shot at 15 meters, which I believe is the highest the Retaliator originally got when firing flat. And a couple of darts have made it just above 20 meters, which I'd say is 67 feet. So the highest shot the Retaliator got was at about 77 feet, which is about 23.5 meters. So as you can see, this Retaliator really packs a punch when you put in a 5 kilogram spring. As we saw, it shot up to about 23 meters, which is really good. Imagine if it was angled, it would have more than likely have been able to fire up to 30 meters. So some really good stuff. So if you want to go to a Nerf war and be able to hit your target from a long distance, definitely consider putting a 5 kilogram spring in. Well, I hope you have benefited from this video. Thanks for watching JJ Reviews, and stay tuned for more Nerf news.